Hello everyone, this is Shadragon back with another episode of DC Universe Online. And this is a special Throwback Thursday edition of what I normally do with the price guide or like the booster bundle unboxing series. So what we're doing in this episode is we're going to go all the way back to the earlier booster bundles, maybe even the first one. I wasn't really into them back then, so I kind of don't know them as well, so some of this might be wrong, but I went back on the web and I tried to get as much information as possible to kind of construct the history of the booster bundles and what was in each one. So the first one was all the way back in 2013. I wasn't even paying attention to these back then. I would say the first one I probably looked at was when they did Plasmic, Nimbus, and Smoke. That was kind of close to the beginning, but it definitely wasn't the first one, because when these first came out, the booster bundles were $20. They've been $10 for pretty much after that, like most of the life of these. That's very expensive, and it's a whole different price point. I mean, if they kept it $20, I don't believe they would have made those sales. Like, you know, when you're doing microtransactions in video games, the difference between $10 and $20 is huge, no matter what you're getting. But yeah, so yeah, I feel sorry for the people who went out and bought like the first one, because the first one, you know, the commons and uncommon, they're the basic type of aura, like nothing fancy. It's what you see to the right. That's what I have demonstrate on Anna. I'm going to be showing these auras on two characters. Sylvia is my Green Lantern. She has most of the types, and I think two characters should be able to cover this, but if not, I might switch to another one. Anna is my Phantasy Star 2 character, to the right. So right now Anna is wearing the regular blue aura, and this would have been one of the common drops in the original booster bundle. We're not going to bother looking at the basic one because it wasn't exclusive. Like after the booster bundle, probably shortly after, these made their way into the lockbox, where they actually became really common, because when the lockbox had their first run, there wasn't that much loot mixed in there. Like, this was before the new 52 styles, before the tiered styles made it in there even. So there were just a limited number of items you could get, and the auras became common and they became cheap. So those, they're not going to be too valuable at all. Occasionally, if they're rare, you might see them go up a little bit, but they're not an investment item because you can still get them as a drop. But in the first booster bundle, the rarest item was called the Plasmic, and that's the type that's displayed on Sylvia. I'm going to try to display the type because I almost never got the rare item, so I won't be able to display that. But let's take a look at the prices for the earlier set. So if we go to Styles and we just select Aura and sort by price, you are going to see the basic ones first because they're still dropping and no one really wants them. Back then the green one hadn't even come out yet. Like they needed special permission from DC Comics to even get this one. But now even the green one is common. So yeah, when the regular plain ones were pretty much the only aura other than the rare, it seemed like gold and white were the uncommon ones, and then everything else was common. Because they were priced higher, although now they're probably going to look the same. So let's take a look at Plasmic. I don't know how many of these are going to show up because they're so old that you know, they're all consumed, or they just don't exist in the wild anymore. So we'll just see how many we come across to get an idea of price. So wow, there are no plasmics. The last time I checked this from memory was a few weeks ago. Plasmic. They fell around like 60 to 70 million. That's really high. And I'm talking about the variants. I'm not talking about the quote unquote OG one. The original plasmic I think was like a neutral color. It was like a gradation of white to gray. That one is like super rare. That probably goes for maybe even the max amount, but it'll be several hundred million. I'm thinking that the variants will still be around the 60s to 70s, which is really high. But the key lesson in all this, and I'll mention this in a lot of the videos of this series, is if you hold something you get from a booster bundle, most of the time it's going to appreciate a lot in value, and then a few years from then you'll be able to trade that for, say, like a rare on a current booster bundle that you wanted. Because I had a couple of friends who couldn't roll the chroma material, but they had like a lot of these old booster items saved up, like from years ago. So they were able to bundle a bunch of those and trade them away to someone. Okay, so yeah, that was the first set. We still had the commons mixed in with the first, like, good-looking aura, the first non-plain one. And then what they did in the past, at least for some time, the ultra rare of a previous booster bundle would drop down to an uncommon in the next one, and then in the next booster bundle it would get more variants and drop down to the common level. So it would take like the 2 steps down. Alright, so in the next booster bundle, which came out around April 2014, we had the plasmic drop from the ultra rare to the uncommon. The rare became what's known as the Nimbus aura, and the OG one is like a neutral version of what you see on Sylvia to the left. So she has the green Nimbus, which is like a more common variant of that one. And then with the third booster bundle, the plasmic, which 2 bundles ago was the ultra rare, dropped down to the common. So there were common variants of that. And that was orange, blue, green, yellow, red. The Nimbus dropped from 1 bundle ago to an uncommon, and then they offered a green and red version. So you do see the green here. The rare became the smoke, which you see on Anna to the right. She's wearing the blue variant of that. The original smoke one was just a neutral color one, which I don't have. So let's take a look at these types and see if there are any on the broker. So again, there's nothing. But going by memory, the Nimbus were about the same as the plasmic in price the last time I checked. And yeah, those also fell around the 60s and 70s. But you know, even with that, it's hard to gauge the actual value of them because they're usually not up there for that long. So I don't know if somebody snatches them up or if they just expire and no one buys them. But actually, Plasmic and Nimbus are my 2 favorite types. Like, I still have characters use them over some of the new ones that we get. Now, let's see if there are any smokes. Yeah, white smoke is over 200 million. I believe white smoke fell out of this pattern, though. It wasn't one of the smoke variants that dropped from ultra rare to the medium and then to the common. White smoke actually came later on when they broke that pattern. So if you want an idea of how things compare, white smoke is a lot newer than the ones that I showed before. But smoke, it seems like that's like the community favorite type. Whatever is a smoke type is several times more valuable than the other types we've seen. And it does seem to hold its value as well. You don't see it a whole lot here, but there was a period where blue smoke was really popular. They're probably just non-existent now. But it was around like the water period, because it looked like a water aura to me. So I actually held like a bunch and then sold them when water came out. But yeah, blue was one of the variants. Let's see, smoke. After the OG, the next release for the uncommons was yellow and green, which actually didn't look that good, but they still sold, and they still held value just because they were rare and because they were the smoke type. It was the common ones that were like the blue, pink, purple, orange, and red. Like those looked pretty good, but they were more common than the yellow and green. Okay, next up we're gonna look at April of 2015, and the rare type there was called Radiant. So again, the OG Radiant was a more plain version of this. I don't remember if it was completely neutral or if it had a yellow hue. Yeah, I kind of think Radiant was like a yellow maybe, because it was supposed to look like the sun. But anyway, this is again a later on more common version of it because I wasn't able to get the rare. So Sylvia is demonstrating that one. And then when Radiant dropped down to uncommon, the rare became Glimmering. And you see that with Anna on the right. She's wearing a more common cyan Glimmering. I think the OG Glimmering was either neutral or possibly a yellowish hue. I kind of think that one was neutral. Glimmering was probably the least popular rare one, even though it was rare, because it's kind of like a subtle aura. You didn't notice it much, and if you had like a dark screen, you probably didn't see it that well at all. So it was probably the least well received, but because of the rarity, it still would have gone up in value, just not as much as the other types. So let's take a look at Radiant and Glimmering. Alright, so we have a red, purple, and yellow, and they're all 75. And then there's a light blue for 115. When did those fall in? So we have, let's see, red, purple, yellow. See, okay, purple was when Radiant became uncommon, but I think the two bundles that the variants came out in were also in 2015. There was a September and a December release. So I think they were close enough in time that even though the Radiants, the purple and orange were uncommon, but they're probably all close to the same rarity today, which is why you see them as 75. And that is still comparable to what I think Plasmic and Nimbus are. So maybe they're all just old enough that their frequency is almost the same. But these are all bargaining chips for something newer. So I think as of now you'd have to trade like several of these to try to get a Chroma box, because the Chroma boxes have gone from like several hundred million to the max amount. Like I've seen them for the max amount on the broker. I don't know if those actually sell or not. I would imagine they don't. But yeah, that should give you an idea of Radiant. I have no idea when the light blue Radiant came out though. I don't have that noted anywhere. Yeah, after they broke the pattern, like they kind of mixed up some of the variants. Like there was one bundle that had like several different variants. I think that was sometime in 2016. That was when the rare was something completely different. They did like, anyway, we'll get to that in another clip. So let's look at glimmering now. So you can see there's a big difference between the glimmering variants and the previous types. I think some of the ones that came after glimmering might even outprice these. But these are still pretty high because when these came out, they were like probably under $1 million. So they still appreciate, like, no matter how much the community like doesn't like them. If you hold it, it becomes rare. You know, a new player could stumble across it and just want to get it for their character. To tell you the truth, these don't look that bad. Like I'm more in favor of like the subtle looking ones because I like to highlight a character's armor more than the special effects. So I actually like these, even though the community does not like them as much. Alright, so after glimmering and radiant and glimmering, the next rare type was the solar. So Anna is actually wearing the very common variant, the white solar. This one is very common because you could simply buy it from the Atlantis vendor after grinding a little bit. So that was a new feature to the game where they started adding some style items to DLC vendors. But the original solar, I believe that was like a yellow color because it's solar. And after that was when the pattern broke. That was when we got cosmic material as the rare. And then the solar did still drop down to a variant. I think we got blue and purple, which looked very cool. I just don't happen to have them on these characters. Now, cosmic material was, I think, the first booster material. I don't remember if that came before or after Phoenix, but those were like the first two and most rare materials. Cosmic would be more rare because it expired, whereas Phoenix you can still, you can still get it in game, but at a super low chance. And then there's of course the Quarks vendor. Now I don't have the cosmic material to display at all. What you see on Sylvia is something close to it. This is just the Cosmic Egyptian style for sale. It looks kind of like it, but of course I could only use it on this one Egyptian style and not all my gear pieces. Now, the chances of these being on the broker are probably 0. And Cosmic Material broke the pattern because it never got any variants. Like that was it. It was just a one-shot. So obviously that's not there. Solar, we're probably only going to get the Atlantis one. Although, oh no, there is a green solar. It's a green solar one that I do not have. I think this is the only green aura my Green Lantern does not have. So that, pretty consistent with the other old ones at about 70 million. You can ignore the white solar one just because that's you can buy that from in-game if you have the DLC. Just buy it with the Atlantis marks, or it might actually it's source marks now. But this one, this will fluctuate depending on how many people buy them and put them on the broker. It seemed like the transition to source marks didn't affect the price of this. It would range from 2 to 7, so this is typical. But anyway, let's get back to booster. Alright, so switching characters up because I want to show you the Killer Frost aura, which doesn't look like an aura at all. But this was the next rare after the Cosmic Material. So while we were kind of expecting variants of the material to become uncommon, this is where the pattern sort of broke. between Cosmic Material and the Killer Frost aura. Because they went back to auras, except this is like a localized one. You see that the aura is only on her shoulders and arms. Now this one you would think is not that popular because it's really specific to an ice character. But again, it being rare kind of made the price go up. And of course it's unique and nice looking. The disadvantage to this one is, of course, you don't have like the full body aura, and you can't like double up on auras. So if you put this one on, it's only going to be shoulders and arms, and probably back too. It probably goes over to the back. Chances are we're not going to see this one on the broker. But again, with the pattern breaking, the one after this didn't show a trickling down of either the Cosmic Material or this Killer Frost aura. They just went back and did more color variants of like the previous ones. So that's where you got to see like the light blue. What was that? The light blue solar or light blue something else? And then there was like a green solar. There were a whole bunch. I don't even know if I noted them right. But let's take a look at the broker for Killer Frost, which we're probably not going to find. So it looks like I did get the rare once because I have this character wearing the Killer Frost. I don't recall if I actually rolled that or if I bought it. I'll have to look back on social media on that one. Or maybe I did a video on that. If I find that one, I'll link that up. But yeah, as expected, there's nothing on here. The next couple, I don't have either. So then we had a liquid material. And let's see, when we had the liquid material, the uncommon was Ripple, and the rare was, the common was Filament. I don't think I have that on these. I definitely don't have the Ripple. The Ripple was blue and yellow. I don't have any characters where the yellow one matched at all. I believe I took the blue one on my water character, but I didn't consume it yet because I wanted to make a style for it before I actually used it. So that one's up in the air. I haven't decided if I wanted to keep it. So unfortunately I won't be able to display that one, but let's see if we could find it on the broker. Ripple, was that an aura or a material? Well, in any case, there are none on here. But let me see if I could find the filament. Okay, there are some of those there. I don't even know what inertron filament is. Oh, that's probably not an aura. I should go to styles. Okay, so here's a green filament. It's a very flashy, like fireworks type aura. It's kind of like an aura itself by the core. Kind of looks like an animation of like those pinwheel fans. A lot of these have that one color as the core, and then there are embers of another color. So with the green one, you got green and orange. Red is red and orange, so it looks very fiery. Blue is blue and orange. There's no purple one here, but the purple one has like a purple core with green embers. And purple and green are very popular in the DC universe. So, let me pull that up again, because I just want to look at the prices. So all the filaments were of the same rarity, and they were only released once. Like, there were no variants. There were just, I think there were like 4 or 5 of those. So you can expect those to be around the 20s to 30s. Like, this is, it's probably like a good range of it. And let's see if we can get the liquid material. I didn't search that yet, did I? Yeah, no liquid material. Yeah, those materials, those are just like super rare. They disappear very quickly. Okay, so we're back on Sylvia to kind of demonstrate the next one, which I actually don't have again. After the box where liquid material represented the rare, we have the Hacker Cache, which is a box of auras, both a full aura as well as a suite of the partial versions of it. Sylvia has the green Hacker material on, but the Hacker aura looks, it kind of looks like this. It has the same pattern of like digital characters, except it's like an amber color. We should see some of that on the broker still. Probably not the full one, but the partials that no one wants. But they should be priced up simply because they are part of that rare box. So yeah, we see the Hacker feet. That's like the part that no one ever wants. Because like, who wants to light up just their feet? Although it does work for skimming, in my opinion. And then we do see the one here that's head, hands, and feet. So let's preview that one because that's the closest thing to the full aura. So yeah, if you got the cache, you got that as like an entire body aura. You probably got like a head one. There's one for the right hand. There's one for both hands. And then there's head and hands. And then there's head, hands, and feet. And then just feet. So yeah, that box you were able to get and either consume them all or divide them up and sell them. And in that box, we had the uncommon Tesla types. It was red and blue at the time. Now, none of those exist currently. So these are the common variants that came with the Chroma booster bundle. These are still fairly common because they're current. They're more current than what I've been showing. So these aren't really like the throwback ones. This is the current booster box. Now these also jumped up in price simply because that promo ended. The only way to get these is if someone happened to save a box and didn't open it yet. And the common one that came with the Hacker Cache was the Electron Aura. Now, while these were more common, there was never a variant of these, which should be interesting because like the Teslas dropped down from uncommon to common in the current, in the Chroma box. So that did step down and offer more variety. However, the common version that came in the Hacker box never got a variant. So does that make them jump up and become more rare as a type? And something we don't know is if this is going to be the new pattern going forward, where the rare is the rare and never gets a variant, and then the middle one gets a variant, but the bottom one doesn't. That could certainly affect trends in an interesting way. So for a closer look at the two types from the Hacker box, I'm just calling the boxes by the rare, because that's just a good way to denote them. The Hacker box was 2018's, June 2018. Keep in mind that for the entire 2017 there was no booster bundle. So these go from 2016 to 2018. In 2017, as I pull up the green Tesla, So this is a variant of that blue and red. Yeah, in 2017 there were no boosters because they went full force on the capsules. I think that was supposed to be the booster bundle replacement. However, it was like a pay-to-win item. So complaints about that brought the booster back. That is my guess on that. Now they both do well as far as making sales, so you know, why not have both of them out there? Those who are against the pay-to-win can go for the booster, and you know, those who have the money to toss at it can buy both. And then we're looking at the green electron. So it's a subtle aura, kind of like glimmering, except it has a more interesting animation. So that kind of does it for the throwback auras, because that just brings us up to the current box, which Anna is displaying the blue chroma from the most current one. And that one had the uncommon gleaming, which I don't have on any character quite yet. Oh no, wait, I displayed the orange one last time actually, but we won't get into that one because this is a throwback edition. So yeah, anyway, hope this was a good history of the booster bundle. I kind of wish there were more on the broker so we have a real idea of the prices. I mean, this kind of gives you a rough estimate. It doesn't show you the craziness of what the OG ones turned into though. I would just estimate those to be max price because they're that rare at this point. I mean, we're talking about 6 years ago. If someone saved a box or an aura from 6 years ago, it takes a lot of restraint, or if someone just happened to forget about it or left the game for a while. But it would be something extreme like that. But it looks like if you hold it for, you know, like 2 or 3 years, it's going to go up and it's going to be like a barter item. If you know, if you happen to get the chroma box and you didn't use it yet, that's really expensive now. Like, imagine it later on. You're going to be able to trade that for something much cooler later on. So yeah, I just want to stress that you should be saving these things. If you open a whole bunch of bundles that you don't like the rewards, just hold it. They're definitely going to go up. Like, you can even see the glimmering one. That was not really a favorable one, but it still went up. Okay, that's it from here. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Thanks for watching.